Thank you for joining us today. It is officially Thrive Thursday. I'm Laura Brandao, the president of AFR, and today we have three guests who are going to share with us how they have adapted to our new world and are now thriving. Let's meet our guests. From Washington, D.C., we have Ananya Datta. She is a nurse practitioner turned entrepreneur and the CEO of Impact Clinical Strategies. From Rochester, New York, we have Gary Cooper. He is a professional bodybuilder and the co-owner of Resurgence Fitness and Nutrition. And from Clinton, Maryland, we have Brooke Hardy. She is the CEO of the LB Group LLC. Well, welcome everyone, and let's jump right in. Okay, Ananya. The last few months have certainly brought a lot of change and adaptation. None of us are the same as the beginning of this year. We've learned and we've said yes to a lot of things that have now resulted in, surprisingly, us thriving. So please tell us a little bit about the change that you experienced and how you've adapted to now thriving.
Hello, everyone. First, thank you, Laura, so much for having us on this episode. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and your audience. My name is Ananya, and this year has taught me to not only survive, but like you said, thrive. And I think the biggest lesson here and what it has looked like for me to thrive is learning to really lean on your own superpowers and understanding your own fortitude and your own strength and what you're truly capable of. So, what that looked like for me is really transitioning from a clinician role to a digital entrepreneur and learning to fill the gap and understand what my clients need right now and cater to that. So, making that transition into a new entrepreneur is very challenging, especially during COVID, but it was a now or never thing. And I'm so glad that I made that leap. And I learned to thrive by really turning inward and doing a lot of reflecting, meditating, and investing in myself. And that was the biggest kind of mindset shift I have to make is if not now, then when? And it's, it was a great opportunity.
2020 taught us all that, right?
Absolutely.
Is that there's no more waiting because we don't know what will happen tomorrow.
You
right?
don't know. And your biggest asset is yourself, your strengths, and your capability of moving forward and adapting. So yeah, I would say that it has taught me to thrive, go beyond surviving, but really thrive and, learn to adapt every single day.
I love it. I love it. So let me ask a couple of questions about this. All right. So, okay. So we all know that initial shock of this change. Of course, we go into survival mode as humans. We just do that. Okay. So take me to the point where you're like, okay, it was a digital world already, but now, boy, it's exclusively a digital world. So what was that moment where you were kind of like, okay, I need to make this change and I need to do this and I'm going to take the entrepreneurial side. And I also want to know, what did you do? You mentioned you meditated, you mentioned you did a lot of inner work. What else did you do besides meditation to kind of go deep in yourself to be able to draw out the strength for this adaptation?
These are great questions. I think if I had to pinpoint one point in time that was my aha moment or my light bulb moment this year, it would be probably around May and June when I started realizing that the healthcare profession is forever changed, that our volumes have completely changed, and the landscape of what a nurse practitioner is going to be needed for is very different right now. And that I cannot wait on anyone else to do what I need to do. And that I will always be waiting, that if I'm waiting for the right time, the right moment for the market to change, and that I really wanted to take that power back and I wanted to create my own destiny with the gifts that I know that I have. And so it was around May and June when I, started to see that shift, not only in myself, but my colleagues were experiencing the same shift from moving away from the clinical bedside and just wanting to do our own thing. So it was seeing that all of our mindset are shifting. And another thing I think that really helped me, in addition to the meditating, is living in community and leaning on other people that you would never really speak to before, and everyone banding together on forums and creating friendships and collaborations you would have never had before had this not occurred. So I think in addition to, thriving by meditating and going inward, I learned to invest in myself through coaches, through people who had an unshakable and shatterproof mindset, and to live in community with other people who are other women entrepreneurs doing the same thing, so that you are held accountable and also have a safe space to talk about your daily challenges.
I love that. And you are 100% accurate in the fact that the difference of what happened this year is that everyone was experiencing the same crisis, right? We were all experiencing it. Usually that's not the case. Usually, if something unfortunate is happening, it's one sector that it's happening to. With this, it was literally global. Not even just the United States, it was global. So we all had this sense of unity, that we understood some of the challenges that were happening, right? And then you hit on such an important thing right there when you speak about community. That has to be one of the most valuable things that all of us can have, because, like you said, you have your accountability, of course, but you also have, listen, maybe you need to cry. Maybe you need to yell. Maybe you need to whatever, you need to do something, and you need someone that understands what you're feeling to know you're not alone. So that's valuable.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
Great. All right, Ananya, thank you so much. We'll be back on the second question. All right, Gary.
Thank you.
Tell us, I know that you leaped into starting a new business. I know you have a regular full-time job, and of course you're a professional bodybuilder. We can see that part of it too. So also at this time, you're like, heck, things are changing. Just like Ananya just said, she's witnessing a change happening with nurse practitioning, that she's like, hey, I can sit around and I can just float along here, or through chaos comes change, right? You guys all recognize there's change happening. So Gary, tell us a little bit about that moment where you're like, hey, it's a good time to do this. And how did you get that started, and what did you do in order to get that rolling?
Well, again, like she did, first thing I want to say thank you for the opportunity to, put us on this platform, for us to be able to reach other people, to get some exposure to what we're doing, and then talk a little bit about why we're doing it. Now, for me, basically how it all started, I was a personal trainer working in a gym, always, just personally training people one-on-one, sometimes group classes, things like that. And when everything kind of changed, online training had already been a thing. So it forced me to kind of adapt and move into that world. And it really started with me trusting myself and my knowledge and my background and everything that, I put into this. I was always doubting myself a lot of the times. I mean, I knew what I was doing, but I wasn't really ready to kind of take that leap and do it. And through working with other people that did trust me, that told me, hey, I believe in you, you know what you're doing, I started to work with them and started to really show myself that I knew what I was really doing, which gave me more going forward with it. So it allowed me to kind of trust myself way more and kind of put more of my eggs in that basket and work towards something. And then, I met one of my clients who you recently had on the show, who actually was like the one that catapulted me to it. Like, hey, you could do this. I got something for you to, a business proposition basically for you. So he just basically gave me more confidence. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna just go for it. And it's been working out really well. I mean, it started off very small for me. It was just myself. And I started to see more come out of it, because like the medical industry, the fitness industry has basically changed as well, because
Sure.
with gyms closing across the the country, they're open now here and there, but things are different. A lot of people don't feel comfortable still going into that setting. So being able to be at home and doing a workout, or just to go online and have somebody that's reputable or whatever, that has some type of credibility, tell you what you can do to get here, has worked out in my favor a lot. So that's what I've basically just
Yeah,
trusted.
and Gary, think about it. I mean, we know things have changed, right? In all different industries, things have changed. And even once the vaccine, and we know we're in the home stretch, hopefully in 21 things will, settle down with everything.
Yeah.
But some things will never go back to the way it was, because it doesn't have to. You're seeing it now. There's
Yeah.
people, they don't want to go to a gym because of whatever reason. They have little ones and they don't want to have to leave the home, or they're taking care of an elderly parent, or there's the hours they work, whatever it is. You're always going to have a thriving business the way that you're presenting it, because that will work for a segment
Absolutely.
of the universe, right?
Yes.
Now, what you just said about having that confidence and having someone believe in you, that goes back to community again. That goes
Yeah.
back to your tribe. Because, Gary, I don't care who you are. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care how old you are. We all have self-doubt. All of
Yeah.
us. It doesn't matter how long you've been in business. It doesn't make a difference. So the biggest message out of what you just said, number one, it's easy for me to say, hey, have all the confidence. But yeah, we all know we're going to doubt ourselves. That's just reality. Okay.
Yeah.
But the piece that you said is the most important piece. We all have the ability to be that person for someone else, to say, I believe in you.
Yeah.
You can do this. I know that you're the best at this. And Gary, you also said something else. The other day you mentioned, well, I know what to do in this sector, but I don't know the business side. Well,
Yeah.
guess what? That's why it's great to work with a team, because
Yeah.
you're right. You don't have to know all of it. No one
You don't.
knows everything, all the pieces of the company. That's why you break it down into sections. So for everyone out there, number one, biggest message about the community, the tribe, and being that person to tell someone else, because sometimes we need to hear someone else say it.
Absolutely.
And we can all be that person for someone else. So Gary, I love what you're doing. We're here to encourage you and to support you, and keep doing what you're doing, because it's an important piece for all of us. Look, we've got medical going on, we've got
Yeah.
fitness. This is good. We got a theme going.
Go together.
All right, Brooke. Tell us what's going on with you. What changes did you make? What did you say yes to that now you're thriving?
Wow. So it's so many things that I can go through. But first, I want to start just like my wonderful co-host. I would like to say thank you so much for having us. I always tell people that transparency breeds freedom. And so we're opening up so many doors for so many people to receive something new. So thank you so much for having us. I went through so many changes during this time. I don't even know how to begin, but I will say I can look at it from a business perspective, because business has kind of been what's taking over my life right now, in a good way. So I was literally on the brink of shutting my business down, not for any specific reason. I just wanted to travel the world. I got new luggage for Christmas. Passport had just came in, and I'm like, we're going to Paris. But all of that kind of changed in the blink of an eye. But I was literally on the brink of shutting my business down, and just because I wanted to breathe. And one day, they shut work down, they shut everything, they shut life down, and literally the digital world became necessary. and I became a little bit more necessary than I thought I would be. But just in terms of business and in terms of opportunities, I've just been experiencing such a big change that has required me to not just say yes to opportunities and requests and new clients, but yes to myself. Because kind of like Gary was saying, like you have those moments of self-doubt where you're like, am I capable of this? Because with communications and marketing and PR, it changes every single day. So there's a new app, like one of my opportunities, they were like, we want to figure out how to make people pop on TikTok. I'm like, I can't even figure out how to record a TikTok. So it's like so many things that it just keeps
Gary
changing.
needs to be on TikTok. Are you on TikTok? Gary,
I want to be.
You better be on TikTok.
It's just my kids do it.
You have to be. Absolutely.
Listen, TikTok is where it's at right now. But, just learning to say yes to yourself and being confident in the fact that you're capable of doing hard things. You're capable of learning new things. I think sometimes, especially with technology and social media, we scare ourselves into like, this is too much, I can't do it. But when you have no choice. And so I'm really just in a place of learning to say yes to myself, and even, learning to say yes to those opportunities that make me uncomfortable, but still.
Those are the best ones.
The best ones. Those are the best. Because then you leave and you're like, wow, I really can do this. And even though I didn't do it at like 100% perfect, I did it.
That's right.
And so just change for me has really been like eye-opening in terms of like, you have to give yourself that yes. And don't tell people no because you're scared to say yes to yourself. And because you never know who's going to be transformed by your yes. You never know what changes will happen, what life, like, what that can do for someone. Like, and that's just been my thing. I don't even know, I can go on and on, but I'm just happy.
I don't know. I'm literally just joyous listening to you, Brooke. I mean, you guys literally, you are speaking exactly the way I feel. And every single week, anyone that watches this weekly will say, Laura, you say that every week practically. I have to tell you how 3 strangers, again, I've never met you before last Tuesday when we did our pre-call, but yet we literally have exactly the same mindset. It is fascinating to me how that can happen, and how many other people out there that have this same thought process, that all we're doing is saying yes. First thing, Ananya said it first, right? She said it starts with us. And it does. It all starts with us first, because if we are not in a good place, we're no good for anyone else. We're no good for our teams. We're no good for our family. Like, we have to be okay with ourselves first. And that's mind, body, and spirit, right? That's all 3 pieces. That's all 3. And then once we are secure, then we can help others. Then we can grow businesses. Then we can be a great father and mother and sister and daughter and all those great things, right? That's when it happens. But it starts with the mindset, exactly what you guys are saying. And it's easy for people to get into that routine. I'm comfortable doing the same thing every day. I'm comfortable. I keep doing the same. But that's not where the joy is. The joy is saying yes to doing the uncomfortable. We never know what's going to happen. It's not like everything that we do, we're going to knock it out of the park. No. But we said yes and we did it. And therefore you won. You were successful. So that is fabulous. So you guys are just awesome. And now I get my favorite question. And even Ananya was saying superpower in her first when she was speaking. So I get to hear, I ask each guest each week the question of, what is your unique superpower? There's no right or wrong answer. Everything is unique to you. But I find that once you lean into that special superpower, you're a little more aware. So I want to know what it is, but I also want to know if you did the homework assignment of asking someone that cares about you what your superpower is. So, all right, Ananya, let's hear.
All right. Yeah, I cheated a little bit and mentioned it on my previous one, but this is a great question. I think that this year, more than any, we've really learned to
Yeah.
tap into those superpowers. So for me, I think that my superpower is being authentic and truly aligned with myself.
Hmm.
Because once I really did that, once I truly stepped into my power of who I wanted to be and what I wanted to look, my destiny and my vision to look like, rather than what I thought others wanted of me, then it allowed other people permission to do the same thing.
Right.
And it started magnetizing people to ask, okay, how did you do this? And I want what you have, and I want that for myself. So that really showed me the power of when you step into your own authentic vision and step into your power and you're aligned with what you're called to do, and you're cutting out the noise of what you think you're supposed to do and be and who you're supposed to be. That really magnetizes people. It gives them permission in a way that nothing else does. So that was me really learning that that is a superpower, and that's
Very
how I
much
really,
so.
yeah, and that's
Very
how I
much so. And Ananya,
absolutely.
most people do not discover that until they're very late in life, till
Hmm.
it's almost too late to discover it. Because at that point, they're looking back going, man, I messed that up. I thought
Hmm.
wanted this life and it didn't happen. So now let me think about what I did wrong. To actually realize that your role is not to emulate other people. That's their vision. That's their life. It makes no difference what anyone else is doing. Just follow your dream and your vision and who you are, and let everything else go. That it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's not okay for someone else. Well, that you follow your dream. This is my dream, not your dream. So you might not agree with it, but I'll follow my dream. And when you do that, the light will shine around you, which is exactly what's
Absolutely.
happening.
Absolutely. And it is a level of freedom that you just can't experience any other way. And, it took me 32 years to get here. So it definitely wasn't overnight, but
You learned very early. Most people are at the midlife crisis level, so you're really good.
okay, I feel good.
You are in good shape.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but yeah, thank you so much for that question. I appreciate that.
That is a wonderful, empowering experience that you're going through right now. So don't stop. Keep it. It
Thank
gets
you.
hard sometimes. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
hard to keep that up. So keep going. All right, Gary, let's hear. The men have much more trouble with this question than the women. So I'm putting you on the spot here, Gary.
Well, I think the reason we have more trouble with it is because we don't really think that deep sometimes when it comes to things.
Yep.
So the fact that you said to ask somebody close to you, a loved one or whatever, that kind of helps you learn about yourself. Because for me, I learned a lot about myself through other people and what they think of me. So the funniest thing happened. I'm gonna tell you. Both are the answers to this question. Um, I asked my fiance. She told me that I'm strong and strong-minded. Now, this doesn't have to do anything with me
Yeah.
physically being strong. This is my mental. And then today, it's a friend's birthday. Sent him a happy birthday text or whatever, and he comes back and he says, "I know it's my day, but I want to send. I'm sending out a card, a text card to everyone that I'm close to with one word on it that describes you." And his
Ah.
word was strong. So this happened twice, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." And I had explained this to him, and it was just funny that happened because for me, I don't realize this, but it also is something that I do with people around me. So whether it's just a client that I met, anybody that I'm around that I feel that I need to help them, the first thing I want to do is work on here, and by
Mm.
giving them some type of mental clarity on just being strong and being dedicated and disciplined to whatever it is that you have set your mind to go after. And most of the time, obviously, a lot of people are coming to me for fitness help and things like that. And I want them to understand that it's not going to be easy. But if you get your mind set on why you came to me, then you will be able to stay on track. Because I always tell people, remember your why. Why did you decide I'm going to contact this guy to do, this because I want to look this way? It could be anything. Somebody reached out to Ananya for help, or reached out to Brooke for help in regards to their career. Why did they come to us?
Yeah,
You know
there
what I mean?
had to
So
be some reason, right? There
yeah,
was, in your case, maybe it was that person that just got the doctor's report, right?
yeah,
And all of a sudden they told them, you better do something about the high blood pressure, or,
exactly.
you've got to get this under control, right?
Yeah.
Or you're gonna take years off your life, right?
That's what I
but
tell.
but you're right. That's the why. So strong, obviously not physically, but mentally, to
Yeah,
be able to get people to have that commitment, to be able to have that
that's
dedication, and for you to be there for them.
yeah. Because I show that to people through competition preparation. It takes a lot of discipline
Yeah.
for me to get myself in the shape that I get myself into for a competition. It takes a lot of saying no to one little thing when people don't understand that one little thing does make a difference. Even if it's not doing one little thing or doing one more of something, I have to stay on track. I set my mind on the goal. I'm gonna get after it, and that's how this business thing started. Was more of when you have something new presented to you, and we're not sure because of our self-doubt. We're just worried about the challenges that's going to be presented to us. But I feel like once you really give it your all and you go for it, you realize a lot more about yourself. And me being strong and being disciplined has allowed me to really um, expand this business and work really hard and see it kind of flourish a little bit more. And we just just starting to roll. I think it's going to get much better as I continue to really give more to it.
That's wonderful. And I love that. And that example for your fiance to say that, and
Yeah.
then to have this random text, right? That comes with the
Yeah,
same word. But
it was
do you
crazy.
see what I mean about once you're aware of what your superpower is? It's like, our minds now, like once someone tells us that, it's kind of like now we hear it, all of a sudden now we think about that and we start using it a lot more. So, Ananya and Gary, what you want to think about is as you're going through your day, you want to think about, wow, maybe Gary, maybe you came across somebody that's struggling. They're struggling with getting in shape, or they're struggling with the commitment. They're struggling, but you're going to be strong for them, right? You're going to get them through that, to remind them of their why and using that. And she's not going to worry about if someone's judging that, hey, no, I think you should do it this way. You're doing it wrong. Well, that's a great opinion. I appreciate that opinion, but you're going to follow what you believe because that's your path. So great. Love it. All right, Brooke, what's the superpower?
So I, of course, asked for my superpowers, and I also believe that I have one, but they all kind of go hand in hand. So I'll give you what I was given first. So my first three are support, uplifting, and being straightforward. And before I asked, I said that my superpower was inspiring through experience. And so one thing about me is I'm very transparent about the things I go through, the things I've dealt with, whether they're crazy because I've had some crazy things happen in my life, or whether they're just like something simple. But every time I tell those stories and every time I share those things, a little backstory, I'm a YouTuber and I have a blog, and I'm very active on social media, of course, because I'm a social media manager. But on my YouTube and my vlog and my social media, you'll always see like me telling stories about my life, whether it be dating, family, business, anything. And every time someone comes back and they're like, I'm so glad you told that story because I needed to hear that and I can relate. And it's just always something that brings it all together. And I always tell my friends that the biggest blessing for me is knowing that someone was inspired by something that I did. and or something that I said or something that I shared. And so I always just make it a point to inspire through experience. Like if I can be honest about something that I've done or somewhere that I've been, or, you know, something that someone has been through, then that can be a blessing. I had open heart surgery in 2014 at the age of 21, turning 22. I was 21. Wow. And people were always calling me like, I didn't give up on my life because of the way that I saw you fight through that. And I know you were sad, but you kept fighting. And so I fought for my, like, things that weren't even related to health, like people were relating to, just because I told my story. And so, you know, with me being that support and being straightforward and being lifting, I believe that's my superpower, just being who I am. Like I can't be anything
and that
else.
ties into a little bit of what Ananya said too. It's being comfortable with who you are, right? Being comfortable with who you are, which again, you're so young to be at that stage, because most people do not. We go through life so many times trying to fit what the world feels we should fit into, whatever that box is. We should go to school and do this for so much time. We should go get a job and do this for so much time. We should go buy a house and we should have some kids and we should, you know, whatever. And that's great. Nothing wrong with any of that stuff. Right. But we also need to realize that how we get there and the path and all those little turns, it's unique.
Yeah.
And my God, Brooke, you just mentioned exactly what we were saying about the self-doubt. Mm-hmm. You're sharing a piece of yourself. Mm-hmm. And by sharing a piece of yourself, you're telling someone else, don't give up, or it's okay, or I've been there. I understand what you're going through. Mm-hmm. And the power of that, the effect that you have on other people, that's a blessing. That's why I love doing this, what we do on Thursdays, because whoever sees this, someone will relate to someone on this screen, right? Everyone out there can relate to someone. They may not relate to all of us, but they'll relate to someone saying, yes, that's exactly the way I feel, or that's what I needed. And that's why we do this. So thank you, Brooke. I think that's great. Man, you guys had great superpowers. Awesome superpowers. Okay. Well, you guys are officially the last Thrive Thursday of 2020. So you're very important. You're the end of 2020. All right. So we wrapped up the year great. And now we're at the point where you're going to tell me who I have the pleasure of joining me for the first episode of 2021 on the 7th of January. All right, Ananya, who will I meet?
This was so hard, Laura. But first, I just wanted to thank you for your abundance, for you to be using your platform, your time after work, to be, you know, highlighting people every week, and that commitment that you have. I just want to thank you for your abundance and what you're doing for other people. So thank you so much.
It fills me up. Remember, it fills me up also.
Absolutely. So this is really hard, but my person that I'm nominating is Tawana Taylor, and she is a business coach and a life coach for me and many other women. And she is just thriving and helping so many like women entrepreneurs, single moms, just really thrive and excel in their business. So I would love to nominate her because she's an example and embodiment of a thriving woman.
Awesome. 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 All right, Gary, who do I have the pleasure?
Wait a minute. Here I go.
There you are.
So mine was pretty easy. I already knew who it was at the beginning. Not to take anything from anybody else, just it was. Because when I think of people, I think of somebody who is going to be just perfect, who likes to talk and all that. And her name is Cherie Woody. She is a social worker who works with juvenile delinquents, basically.
Oh,
wow. She does like child protective stuff and all that.
Wow.
But she also has been through a lot with her weight gaining and weight loss, who didn't want to be around people when she first started. And I was able to get in here and teach her what that would do for other people if she could be around and show them and be an example of what hard work could get you. And ultimately led to her actually becoming a higher accredited personal trainer than I am.
Get out.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. But she's an amazing person, and she'll be a great guest.
Oh, that's a wonderful story, and good for her. That's very inspirational. Can't wait to meet her. All right, Brooke.
So you all will be, well, I said you all. Like
Me.
you will be speaking with my cousin, my best friend. She's everything to me. Her name is Paige Hardy. She has a dance company called Apart. So a part, like you're a part of this. And so basically what it focuses on is providing special needs children with like opportunities and access to performing arts. And also having shows that showcase diversity in the just in the world in general, you know, that we all have talent. So whether you're African American, Caucasian, Hispanic, whatever, we all can come together and share love through art. And that's what she put on an amazing show last December that I had the honor of being the creative director for, and it was the most amazing thing. It's called Steadfast. She'll tell you about it because that's not my place. She got it, but she's absolutely amazing. Her heart is amazing, and she just does great things. And she's an amazing dancer, always has been. I tried to follow behind her, but my Beyonce knees weren't working that good, so I had to just put them behind me. You know?
You need those for the TikTok videos, right?
I might have to call Gary for a class. I need help. I need some help. So yeah, but I'll make sure I get your information, but you will love her. She's amazing.
Oh my goodness. Do you see, guys? Do you see the power? Do you see how special? And do you see that we all have that ability? So on that note, wishing everyone happy holidays, a wonderful, healthy, happy new year, prosperous. And we all know that I'm confident that all of you will be thriving in 21 and beyond. So all the best. Thank you so much for sharing, guys.
Thank you for having us.